Here we are. Where are all my friends? Sitting down with Luke Wild. And here's the thing, Luke. I was thinking about this before we started. It was almost exactly a year ago. You're staying at the house before you lived in LA. And I was nervous about the pod. Mm-hmm. You're over here like, dude, you got to do it. It'd be so good. And I believed you. I felt it, but I was nervous. I couldn't get over it. I don't know what it was. And as a homie, you're like, let's just set one up. Like, let's totally do it fake. I set my iPhone on a counter and we fake did a podcast in this very room. And that was that day. Like, I don't know what it was, but that was like one of the very first moments where I was like, damn, I think I have to do this. And it actually wasn't even that day. It was when I went back and watched it a little after where I was like, nah, this is going to be fun. So I love that we're here now doing a real one.
My boy.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me, bro. Thank you.
You're here. You live in LA now.
Yep.
Things have been going really well for you. I feel like this is
pretty well.
Pretty well. I feel like this is the beginning of something special for you.
Yeah, thank you.
You've been working. You've been working hard.
Trying, yeah.
You've been here for a year now. Things feel like they're coming together. You just had a song come out on Friday.
I've been here for like 4 months.
I say a year because
I've been coming out here for a year.
Steady been coming out here.
True.
Anyway, I'm very stoked that you're here today.
Thank you.
For anybody that doesn't know you, the first thing that I like to do is tell a listener a little bit about yourself.
All right. My name is Luke Wild. I'm a singer, songwriter, artist. I just came out with my first song. It's called Fever Brain. I also produce for a lot of people out here. Just love to make music. That's really it, man. I just love to make music.
Bro, that says it all. I feel like if that's your bio in a nutshell.
Happy to be here. Yeah, man. Been living out here for a bit and I like having fun with my friends. I like making music.
I love it. Let's get into the good stuff. I know you've got a story. I'm excited.
Yes,
anybody listening, if you do hear a couple snaps and shudders, we got our boy Brandon here. Dumb.idiot.
At dumb.idiot.
At dumb.idiot. He's taking some behind the scenes.
Shout out ABCD.
So I don't think you'll hear it too much, but he's the boy and you're welcome for some good behind the scenes. So there it is. All right. So take me back. My favorite thing to do is go back to the early days of you not even getting your start, but like where you find that spark, like where you get that feeling of this is my shit. This is what I need to do. So take me back to whatever that time is in your life.
Yeah, bro. I just grew up, like we've talked about this before, but I grew up like in a pretty musical environment, just playing in church and stuff. My mom made me take piano when I was 5, and then I started playing guitar when I was like 11 or 12, and that was just it. So as soon as I started playing, and I remember deciding at like 11 or 12, this is just what I want to do.
Bro, you started playing piano when you were 5?
Yeah, but it was like on some really like Mary Had a Little Lamb.
But that's like, I feel like when I think of 5 years old, I think of like the Fisher Price, like what's the little the xylophone? Is that the ding, ding, ding?
Of course.
And you're over here playing a real piano?
Yeah, I mean, but I don't even know if we have video of anything. But I remember I just had, my mom, I kept like quitting, and then we like, you know, she didn't want to pay for lessons and stuff like that. But that was the first like intro, I would say.
All right, 100%. So you were destined for this.
Yeah.
All right, 11 years old, you get a guitar.
Yes, sir. Oh, yeah, 12, yeah.
12, okay. Yeah. That feels, knowing your music now, knowing some of the stuff you do, I feel like that's an important piece of the Luke Wild story.
Yeah.
That guitar.
100%.
Tell me about that.
My mom, I wanted Guitar Hero for Christmas.
Yeah.
And my mom was like, no. She just had a lot of foresight. She was like, that's not a good way to spend your time. So she told me she was going to get a guitar. And that was, I mean, we talked about, but like Guitar Hero was expensive.
It was, yeah.
So she just was like, no, we're not, you know. $100 is a lot of money for a Christmas present. So she got me like a real guitar, and she told me to. She was like, I'm getting you a real guitar.
Wow.
And then I just woke up Christmas morning and it was like this really ugly orange Epiphone lefty, and I just fell in love with it, man. That was it.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's huge shouts to her, because
shout out to my mom.
When Guitar Hero came out, Guitar Hero 3, right?
Yeah.
Everyone wanted that game.
Everybody had it too.
Was so cool. It was so good. And
she just knew I just wasn't like a video game kid. Like I just wasn't, you know what I mean? She knew I was like kind of all over the place. So she knew that it was just not a good outlet.
Right.
Yeah.
We're recording it. Yeah.
Beautiful.
She that's just so smart to me that she had the time or like the foresight to see that, right?
Yeah.
Because like everyone wanted that game and it was expensive. It was a game. It was a fad. But a guitar isn't.
No.
So that's cool.
And I'd always kind of wanted to play, but you know, it's like that's viewed as like the not, you know, good, not the most best instrument to play. Like that's why I had to start with piano.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Like, unfortunately, I didn't grow up playing.
Yeah. So like it was kind of the thing is like real like piano's like the most like academic, you know.
Yes.
But I was already just wanting to, you know, starting a band, and I just like.
So like even at 11 years old,
Yeah.
it felt like piano is the traditional, like the boring instrument, and
Yeah.
guitar is cool.
Which is funny though, because if I have kids now, I'm definitely making them play piano.
Bro, it's like a regret of mine. Like,
100%.
obviously, I can change it
Yeah.
anytime, but I
Yeah.
really wish I could play piano. Like to
Yeah.
me, like that shit's cool,
Yeah.
and you learn a lot about music.
It's just a good discipline to have, I think.
Did that give you the foundation? Do you
100%.
think? Yeah.
Yeah, I still play piano this day.
Damn.
Love it. Yeah.
Can you read music? Like, can you like traditionally?
Yeah. I would have to like. I mean, I'm probably pretty trash now on
Yeah.
guitar. I'm better, but it would take a minute. But yeah, I can.
But that's for sure had to have helped you, right?
Yeah,
Like,
100%.
having those fundamentals.
Yeah. It's so funny, bro, how you like look back at those things that you hated when you were a kid, and you're like, that actually was the best.
Bro, everything.
Every single thing.
Even if it's not like music for me, like I think
No,
back of other moments and I'm
business
like, I
stuff, getting
hated
a
that
job.
so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Getting a job, bro. Like I had so many jobs so early, and
Yeah.
now I just, you know, it's just you just really look back and you're like, oh wow, that just taught me
Yeah.
so many things.
Well, because you think about it too, like you think about like if you know what it's like to work all these bullshit jobs,
100%.
then you get to spend your life and
Then
your
when you're having
days.
fun,
Yeah.
Then when you're having fun, you're like, oh my god, this is so nice.
right?
Yeah.
Like any day that you're working purely on music and you know what it's like to work all those bullshit jobs.
Yeah.
No matter how hard you're grinding, no matter how little you're making or whatever, you're just happy to be there. You appreciate it. So that's cool that
100%.
you had that too. All right. 11 years old, playing guitar.
Yep.
You grew up in Florida, yes?
Tampa.
We are both Florida boys.
Tampa boys.
Damn, close together too. I grew
Yeah,
up in like
St. Pete.
Clearwater or St. Pete area. I loved growing up there.
St. Pete was like so ghetto too
Oh yeah.
back in the day. Now it's really nice.
I think back to it, and Florida was the perfect mix of everything to grow up.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't a small town, or like, I mean, that area, it wasn't
Yeah.
small
It
town,
was just small enough though.
small enough,
Yeah.
but you could find trouble. You could find music. You
Mm-hmm.
could find a little skate scene. You could find everything. But I don't know. Like, it was
Bro, we went
just
to so many shows at the State Theater.
Yo, yeah.
So many shows. Like
Bro.
$10, $15.
Yeah.
So cheap.
Yeah.
That's all we would do.
So that was like, because for me,
That and the Orpheum.
okay, so for me, I didn't get to that stage in my life until probably like 16.
Mhm.
So when I was growing up, I was skateboarding and working on cars.
Yeah.
Like I got into that way sooner. So
Yeah.
you in like that Tampa scene, you were going to Orpheum State Theater like pretty young.
100%. Yeah. Like 14, 15.
What shows?
Like a lot of Under Oath.
Okay.
So Under Oath
shit.
so many
Hometown
times.
Heroes.
Yeah, dude. A lot of stuff, like, because, you know, growing up, like, religious, it was kind of like the hardcore scene was, like, kind of passable. We saw the Chariot a lot.
Oh,
Shout out
shit.
to the Chariot, bro.
Yeah.
68, their new project is, like, probably my favorite band.
Dude, the Chariot bumper stickers. My other car is
Crazy.
at the Chariot.
Is it the Chariot? Yeah.
So
Long live.
good.
So seeing them, because they were crazy.
Yeah.
They were the most insane.
Oh, dude.
Thrashing around, like, so, like, we would just, I mean, it was, and like, again, like, there was really nothing to do, so we would skate the Bro Bowl, like, on Saturdays, and then
Yeah.
a lot of the times we would go to shows. And
Okay.
it was so cheap, like, you could find $10, you know, and then have
Exactly,
the
like-
homie's dad drop us off or something. So.
Right. So it's so crazy. Like a lot of times people on the show, like I'll hear about their youth, their early days,
Yeah.
and I can relate. But you're saying all these places where it's like, that's
You
where
know.
I grew up.
Yeah.
I knew that too.
Yeah.
Sick.
Transitions, like everything.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fuck. Okay. So growing up in Tampa, and we talked about this a little bit before, but where I was more skate kid in the beginning,
Yeah.
you would hang and skate, but you knew that you were a music kid more.
Yeah. Like I was really sketchy. I would go for everything, but I was not good. I had my friend Albert, shout out Albert, like Joseph, he was way better. My older friend Brent was better.
Yeah.
They were just way better. But I
Yeah.
would skate. I could ride transition and I could have fun, and I was really sketchy, so I was always go. But
Right.
no, I was definitely more like, I also really liked it because I could listen to my iPod while I skated. I really liked
shit.
that.
So
And it was,
again, it's music
yeah,
connecting.
and it
in
was
just a
fun
different
too
way.
because, like, you know, like growing up in Tampa, like it was pretty wild, bro. Like at the Bro Bowl, like we from a young age, you had to like, and it's funny too because I think my parents knew it, but like we saw just a lot of crazy shit at a young age that you just had to kind of learn to be at least a little bit street smart, where it was like also a lot of fun, like just running around, and we were getting in trouble so much, like trying to skate at the bank and like stuff like that.
Yeah.
So we would bomb the Verizon had like a big parking garage that we would always sneak into.
Downtown?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just bomb it. And
Dude.
like, it's just stuff like that. So I was just more along for the ride. I was like it because it was fun. I was never like, I'm going to get sponsored,
Totally.
you know? So
Yeah. I mean, I do know, but I also definitely tried to get sponsored.
100%.
Yeah.
There was like, I think like 12, 13. I was like, I'm going to do this.
I straight up brought a demo tape to a skate shop
No
out in
way.
Clearwater. Yeah. And I remember like I legit, it was like me like doing a board slide on a tiny rail, and I dead ass thought I was going to get sponsored. Like I went in like, shouts to the dude that wasn't a huge dick to me and just took the tape.
You were like, all right, guys. So like,
I was like, listen, here's the hotness. Let's go.
Do I need a lawyer
Ever
for
seen
this?
a fucking board slide
you were like,
before?
do I need a lawyer for this contract? How much are we talking?
Yeah, exactly. Like,
Yeah.
what do we like? I could see a signature deck happening,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
So, you're a music kid.
Yeah.
When did you start your first band?
I was like, it was weird though, because I tried to. I like tried and failed. Like I
Really?
was, yeah, like I tried to start just offshoot like groups of my friends in high school. I remember my friend Michael, I wanted, he played drums, he was really good. I wanted to start with him. But it just didn't. Again, I mean, I almost felt like I was pushing my friends too hard. Like I feel like they didn't want to do it.
You were the enthusiastic kid.
I was really like, let's do a band. And all of
Yeah.
them were like, we like music, but we're more into whatever it may be.
right.
Having a girl, skating, whatever.
Yeah.
But going to shows was something that we all did together. Like camaraderie. Am I peaking? Am I good?
No, you're good.
Um,
Yeah. You saw my eyes.
I
I'm,
know.
like,
I saw you look at
checking.
them. I was like, I don't know. Yeah. So I really just, in my mind too, growing up and having two parents that were like, you need to make money. Like if you're going to live, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So in my mind, I was always like, how could I make a living out of this too? So even from an early age, I was like, all right, I'm going to go play for somebody or I'm going to write for somebody. It was also that. So I kind of had the lone ranger mentality too a little bit.
I've always kind of had the vibe, the way you talk about your parents, where it's like they're super loving,
Yeah.
super supportive.
Yeah.
However, traditional in the sense of like, we're not going to pay for you. We're not going to support. Like, you have to make this work. And
Yeah.
you have to.
They're super it was more of like, I think they just wanted me to be responsible, you know,
Yeah.
and they chose, like, my dad's a pastor and my mom's a social worker. So they chose
Damn.
like others first, and we're not going to be rich. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah, yeah.
So they just told me, they were like, hey, if you want to do X, Y, and Z, you need to make X, Y, and Z. So from a young age, I just was aware of that. And it was, I'm
That's
really
cool.
appreciative of that. And there's been times they've helped me while I'm out here. I'm not like, they've always helped as much as they could. Like,
That's sick. Because
yeah.
not everybody has that. Like,
yeah.
sometimes people's story is like, parents do not support it and they
Yeah.
don't see the vision, and like it's very
Oh,
much
they didn't
against
want me
all-
to do it though.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they were definitely like, I remember my mom was like, why don't you just be like an orthodontist or something like that? They always just were like, please. And it's funny because my little brother does film. So they're just for like, oh my God. just
That's
please.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's like actually killing it
Yeah,
in
Caleb.
that lane.
Shout out Caleb. He's killing it. Yeah.
But it's funny that like out of the parents that are like maybe a nice standard career, and you guys are like
100%. 100%. And all the people around too, they were like, no one makes it, no one can tour. And now everybody I know is.
them Wild brothers are really at it.
Yeah, bro.
All right,
But it was good. It was definitely, it was a good thing to like, okay,
Yeah,
be responsible and stuff like that early.
I love that.
Yeah.
So the band thing didn't work though. You
No.
were trying. Then you get to a point, and I know a little bit about this, so obviously I want you to tell your story.
For sure.
But you get to a point where college comes up, right?
Yep.
And you did not go to college in Tampa.
I left high school at 16 and
Okay.
I went to community college for 2 years and got my AA when I was 18.
Okay.
So I just got into this special program. It was called an umbrella program.
Mhm.
And it allowed me to go to both high school and college at the same time because my family moved out
yeah.
of district and the high school was like, we're not going to let you come back.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to switch. You know what I'm saying? So I just was like, I didn't really care about high school. I didn't care socially about any of that.
Right.
I just wanted to work and like play guitar. So that's what I did. And that's where it became more a Lone Ranger mentality too, because
Okay.
I was like going to sitting in class with like 30-year-olds who were trying to have a second shot at education.
Whoa. So that like really shifted things. Yeah.
And also I was going to Ybor City Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then Dade City Tuesday, Thursday.
Ugh.
So I was like in the hood 2 days and then in like the country 2 days.
Yeah.
So, and it was crazy because it was like a lot of different kind of people. And also that's when I started learning how to like finesse, like how many classes I could skip and like,
Yeah.
so I just was like, had a weird education path for sure.
You know what else is interesting about that is I feel like when you're thrown in the mix with all sorts of different people from different upbringings and like, I mean, Tampa has everything.
It's
right?
the best,
Like,
bro. For
yeah.
that. Yeah. Not a lot of people understand it, but it really is the best.
Yeah, but I feel like with that, you probably learned how to like socially interact with so many different kinds of people because
Yeah.
Florida's so weird like that, right? Like
Super weird.
there's like ultimate like,
It's, like,
hicks and like
weirdly
it's
country,
super country,
yeah.
but then it's not. Then you
Super
get into
Hispanic.
like Ybor
yeah.
and it's a whole different vibe. And then like you go down, like it's so many different kinds of people.
Yeah.
So being in that educational kind of system, I bet you got the mix of every kind of person.
Yeah.
And I look back at that and I'm very thankful for it because
Same.
it taught me a lot about social interactions with anyone and how to treat people.
Yeah.
Okay, so
No,
then
I'm really thankful for that.
take me to moving.
So I decided to go to school, decided to go to college at 18 and went to the university.
Mhm.
Excuse me. And it was like kind of like just like a money thing. I was like, I don't really have money for school. They
Yeah.
offered me the best scholarship. They had a music program. I just was like, run it. Like,
Cool.
that's just literally what it was. I wanted to go. I was thinking about maybe going to Berkeley in Boston or Belmont in Nashville. And, but at the end of the day, it was just too much money.
You're like,
man.
wait a minute, I'm not fuck you rich.
Yeah, I was
Let's
like,
go here.
like so
Yeah.
and I'm happy. You know, at the end of the day, it was the right decision because it led me weirdly to the path being here.
Yeah. So then,
No, I just went.
cool. So then you're in school. And a thing that stands out to me with you, which I kind of understand now more as you're like, yo, the band thing didn't work out, but you've been playing music and obsessing over music from a pretty young age.
Yeah,
However, where a lot of people, like a lot of the stories are, okay, I started uploading this, or I couldn't start a band, I started rapping, I started uploading my music to SoundCloud, whatever.
yeah,
You kind of had a different path where you were
100%.
extremely talented.
yeah,
You knew music from forever, right? You've been playing forever.
yeah.
Didn't quite do the solo artist thing.
No,
And there's a piece of the story where maybe you can fill it in for me. But when I met you,
yeah,
you were more in the production side of like making beats.
yeah,
So you grow up going to Under Oath shows, Chariot, playing guitar.
Yeah.
I feel like that could turn you into like a metal kid or
Metal
a pop
kid, yeah.
punk kid that's so big in Tampa.
yeah.
Yet at a
It
pretty
is
young
big in
age,
Tampa too, which is
right?
crazy.
That's a
Such
big scene.
Yeah,
Yet
Still.
the Luke that I met was more on the hip hop side, more making beats for people. So how's
Yeah.
that happen?
I think I grew up listening to a lot of different kind of music. I grew up playing a lot of gospel music, like on the weekends in church and stuff like that. And then again, it's like you only really know the scene you're around. So all the homies loved Under Oath and the hardcore scene. So I loved being in that. And then through that, kind of like the pop punk and all that stuff. But I always was attracted to more like melodic stuff. And when I went to school, I mean, we've talked about this before, but I just was not secure enough in myself to put up music on my own.
That's wild.
So I just really felt like I was good at making music for other people. And
Yeah.
I felt like there was at one point where when I was at school, not one song came out that I didn't really touch. And it was like a small school, but I really was working with everybody and trying to start something, trying to build something, you know? But for some reason, I just never had the confidence to say like, this is my song. You know, I kind of hid a little bit behind like working with other people.
That's crazy to me. It's a very honest thing to say.
Yeah.
Because there you were, like you were in on music. That was your life. You knew it.
Yeah.
Yet still there wasn't that confidence yet. Or maybe it was even like a bit of...
It was secret though. Like I was writing songs for myself secretly. And like sometimes I remember playing them for like my boy Timmy or like just like very, I don't know. I just was a little bit more shy with that stuff, I think, you know, but
Yeah.
I always loved like playing on stage too. So it was kind of this back and forth where I didn't want to be. And I felt like too, when you go to school for music, you know, kids that are better than you at everything.
Oh, fuck.
You know what I'm saying? So you're
Yeah.
like, oh, well, I'm not as good a singer as yada, yada, yada. I'm not as good as a guitar player as yada, yada.
Damn, it's like, it's almost like that thing of like ignorance is bliss.
A
that's
little bit.
real. Like
A
you're
little
seeing
bit.
the best of the best around you.
Yeah.
where all of a sudden you're like, well, fuck, I don't think I can do this because this person is legit better than I am, and I see them. Or even if you see somebody better than you that's not succeeding, then you're like, well, fuck, if they're not.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. But also, you know, music school is kind of that attitude. It's a lot of kids talking about it, a lot of kids kind of flexing, and not really anybody that, from my experience, and everybody's experience is differently. PC alert, hello.
Right. Well, no, bro, like it's funny.
But it's true. Like bro, it teaches you X, Y, and Z, but it was when I left school and moved to Atlanta, I got more of an education in 2 months.
And it's funny because I really try to keep an open mind, and I know that certain people are forced to go into college, or some people like that is their path.
Yeah.
That was not me.
I
was very much like brought into it of like, I just started touring at a very young age.
Yeah.
But I've always felt that application and just throwing yourself in is more experience.
100%.
Whereas the theory and going to school is great, but you're talking about it, you're thinking about it a lot, and you're not doing it.
Yeah.
So that's really interesting to hear how that affected you.
Yeah.
And where that led you. So then though, you end up, something in your life changes because you end up in Atlanta.
Yep.
Did you finish school or did you drop out?
Oh no, I dropped out.
Okay. All right. Tell
100%.
me about that.
I mean, I just had already stopped going to class. I was doing so many sessions. I was driving down to Atlanta all the time.
Yeah.
I was touring at the time, playing guitar, like on some hired gun stuff on weekends.
Yeah.
So, and I knew a lot of people doing that too. So I just was like, why am I going to school and it's the classic thing, you know what I'm saying? I have friends there, but I never felt like, it was the same with high school. I always just wanted to, you know, be in my own world and kind of do my own thing. When I was in college, it was the same way. I just wanted to throw shows and then record people. It was it. I didn't really care about anything else. So I started working with a pretty well-known producer in Atlanta, and he offered to manage me and sign me to a production deal. So the day that came through, I walked in and just dropped out.
That was enough for you to be like, okay, I have something tangible. I have something real.
And it was no advance. Like, let's not get it. There was no upfront money. It was nothing. Like, it was just like, hey, I'm going to give you the opportunity and put you in the room with X, Y, and Z.
But that was enough for you.
Oh yeah. I've been looking for an excuse for so long. Yeah. And I should have, it's funny looking back. I wish I had the courage to drop out sooner, but that was a good, like, okay, this is something legitimate. Yeah. And I remember going home and, you know, just really thinking about it and stuff. And then a spot opened up. Shout out to the Kreitz family in Atlanta, a family that I knew. They had a room in their house, and they were like, you can come stay here. Yeah. So I just went down there and then started making music 12 hours a day, just nonstop. And then I would go to the studio at night.
Damn.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's interesting to hear your side of that story because, you know, there are certain people I talk to where like they went in so fearlessly with zero preparation or backup plan. They just went in. Yeah. And I admire the hell out of that. Oh, yeah. But I feel like I've always been conservative by nature, and it's taken me a second. So hearing your path where you're like, yeah, like I honestly wasn't, you know, like I didn't have the courage to just do the outward facing thing, and you were in college a little bit. Like, yeah. I kind of like the realness in a story where it's like, yeah, it took me a second to hit my stride. Yeah. Because, you know, I think a lot of people have quite a lot of success that have been through that. Yeah. There's a lot of behind the scenes you don't realize where it's like it takes some years at certain times for people to like come into their own.
It's a craft.
Yeah. So Atlanta started ripping for you though, right? Yeah. Because that's where we become friends. I know some of the people that you worked with and some of the things you did. Yeah. But again, this is interesting hearing your story because you had always had that vision of your own artist project. Yep. Here you are in Atlanta. Yeah. Kind of hitting a real stride of success and getting some songs placed. And
yeah. 100%.
So tell me about the Atlanta days.
Bro, Atlanta's also, I don't mean to cut you off. I'm so sorry. Atlanta is just such a beautiful place. Yeah. Because at this time when I moved there, I was a little late to the party, but there was a crew of kids. Okay. That really, there was a crew of kids that just had no idea of genre. Yeah. Just internet kids that were just making records. And like, I thankfully through like a random DM started kicking it with, shout out my boy, Hanzo. He's my boy. He's actually doing really well right now. And I just DM'd him to collab on some beats. And he was like, sure, like send some stuff over. And I just sent him like 100, like almost partially completed beats. And he called me that night and was like, come to the studio.
Oh shit.
And that's kind of how it all started. So I started, you know, hanging out with that crew, and it was just a crew of kids that like, some of them were getting signed, some of them were getting deals, but it was off of straight up, just, it was very raw. Yeah. And when I was in Chattanooga before, that's where Lee is outside of Chattanooga. it was the same energy of the kids I started was kicking with out there.
Yes.
No infrastructure.
Yes.
Just kids. It really is DIY to the purest form.
Yeah.
Just kids being like, all right, let's just make records.
And I think
in our
that's
basement.
like you and I connected. Like, it's funny you mentioned Under Oath earlier.
Yeah.
Earlier, we met at an Under Oath show. I was managing
Crazy.
band Limbs. I was out with them for that little bit. They
Love
were on tour
Limbs.
with Under Oath.
Love them.
And I think that's why we connected, because you come there and we start talking music, and the artists that we start bonding over, the things we're listening to,
Same things.
it was like those kids.
Same
where there
world.
wasn't really genres, and it was just like, yo,
Yeah.
like these kids are out here doing something special, and we
Yeah.
both knew it. And I think that's why I was so interested in you, was like you really got that. And I
Thanks,
could
bro.
tell you were kind of doing your own piece of that as well.
Yeah.
So hearing you connect the other side of it's cool.
Yeah. And it was hard too because of the school I was at before, no one knew what that world was.
Yeah.
And me just being, for lack of a better term, like just alone a lot in my room playing guitar and being like an internet kid. I just was obsessed with like, you know, finding artists and stuff like that. And I started to be like, there's a real reaction to this. And that's like, it was like truly punk rock. It wasn't, not punk rock in the genre sense, but it was punk rock, and it was like these kids just blowing up.
Yep.
So I was really lucky to like get in, you know, at least on a decent level with like those kids in Atlanta. So I started making music through that for Six Dogs a little bit. We got a song.
Yeah.
Um,
And that was big for you. Like,
yeah, come out called Saturn. That's a pretty big song. And shout out to Chase, man. He's a good kid. He's fire. But Corey really always had my back. Like we would do a lot of sessions together, and we would make so many songs in a night. It was insane. We just had such a good chemistry.
Yep.
And that's really how it happened, man. At that time, like who I was working with on the traditional side of like more like pitching records and stuff, it just wasn't. It was kind of a lot of nonsense, but I was so much more attracted to like the raw. And there were kids, it was crazy. I would go to shows, it'd be like 3 rappers and then like a funk band, and it was just beautiful, man.
Yeah,
It was-
to me at least, that's like, it's the same feeling as finding music back in the day, where it's like genres didn't matter. It was the community, it was the energy, it was everybody doing something they were passionate about.
yeah.
And I feel like you tap back into that real well out there.
Yeah, man, it was beautiful.
Yeah.
But so I did that for a bit, and then through that I started working with my boy Hearts out here, and I started flying out here quite a bit, and it was kind of that same energy. It was kind of like a newer genre, a newer feel.
Yep.
And since I was tapped in with the kids in Atlanta, I felt like I just had a more open mind
Mm-hmm.
towards genre.
Yeah.
So then that's how I started like coming out here, and then
Well, you also had really good discipline, right? Because
Yeah.
like that was the thing, is as we started talking and as I started to see it, anytime you'd get these opportunities like this, like we were joking about this earlier when we were
What?
eating, is like,
Yeah.
you're like, all you have to do is just keep your head down and work and work and work and keep going. And I was
Yeah.
like, yeah, motherfucker, if it's you, that's all you have to do, because you
Yeah,
already
yeah.
had the base talent.
Oh, thank you, man.
So the thing that I've seen is like,
Thank you, my brother.
my brother. But yeah, like you did come out and you started working, but you were the kid that could turn so much so fast when you'd get these
Yeah.
opportunities.
Well, bro, here's the thing that's crazy too, is like LA is so different than LA has infrastructure. So there's a lot of kids that you grow up here, you do a show, you know there's going to be A&Rs in the crowd. You know that somebody's friend, neighbor, whatever works somewhere. When you don't have infrastructure and all it is just raw. We were in Atlanta doing 12-hour sessions at night, and no one blinked twice, and we didn't stop to go grab food and go get a smoothie.
Right.
It was just like what it was.
Yeah, it's like you
And you know that's also
accidentally
kind of a
got some
bad
good-
thing, because
yeah.
when you're in that world, you think that that's the only way to do things.
Oh,
And you
wow.
don't really take care of yourself. But I was with a lot of producers, man. We would do 12-hour lock-ins, and so to me that was more normal. So
Right.
coming out here, and it was like, all right, let's meet up at 11. Let's go
Yeah.
get food. Let's work for 3 hours. Let's chill. Let's smoke. Da 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 da. It's just I think I just had that. It was like kind of train. It was like boot camp in a
Right.
way.
Again,
Yeah.
where you probably didn't realize
I
it,
didn't
but
even
then
know.
you come out. Yeah.
Yeah, and also, man, I just was like not really doing anything else in Atlanta.
So, yeah.
Just making records.
Yeah,
so.
like that's all you had.
Yeah, it's fun.
Okay, so then LA is another important piece though, because I
Yeah.
think that's
I'm staying with you, staying on this
right.
couch.
You were
not this
coming out
couch.
here. Oh, that,
Staying on this couch.
yeah.
Yeah.
This house. You started to be a little more honest with yourself, I feel like,
Yeah.
in chasing the artist project.
Yeah.
I think that was an important piece.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, man. I remember the day I woke up and I just was like, just kind of feeling down on myself, because when you produce, it's a lot of waiting on other people.
Yeah.
And in some cases, and I love producing, man, like it's still a big passion of mine, but in some cases I was making the entire song, writing the entire song, and singing the entire song for somebody, you know, which that was more in Atlanta, not out here. The artists I work with in LA are a lot more multifaceted.
Yeah.
And I just was like, I felt like I was giving so much to other people. And I also, man, I had a few people that were like, yo, I think you could really do this. I think you should do this. Excuse me. And I just remember the day I just woke up and I was like, all right. And then that's when I made my first song, Childhood. And then a big conversation was coming out with you, and shout out you. And then also Johnny. I remember Johnny was like, yeah, kid, you're talented. You have one song. Like, what are you doing? You know?
Yeah.
So then I just kind of went hard and started trying to make, you know, new songs a lot more. And I think it took like that year of making a lot of music to now I just know exactly, you know, what it should be.
Yeah, because you came out here, you started working with other people, doing your thing that you did so well.
Yeah.
But there was this side where, at least for me, I felt like it switched, where it was all of a sudden, it's like, yeah, I can do that.
Yeah.
And that can pay the bills, and that's awesome.
Yeah.
But here's my shit. And it started to feel real. And now here we are.
Yeah.
Call it a year later.
Maybe a little bit less, but yeah. A year later.
Where it's been, I feel like the focus has been a lot more on
100%.
you as the artist.
100%, yeah.
So what was that transition like, and like what started to change?
I think it's hard because, and I don't even mean to be like too serious about this, but it is like, for me, I've always done the thing that's like the most scary. Yeah. You know what I mean? And that really I really had to look myself in the mirror and being like, why am I not doing this? It's because I'm scared.
Wow.
You know? Because it's the safe route was to just make the beat, da-da-da-da-da-da. But I was very blessed, man. Like, I had just a few people that just really pushed me and encouraged me. And I think that also looking at the music I was making a year ago and having certain people, like shout out to Danny Parra, and shout out to just other people that have encouraged me and pushed me in the right direction. Like, we're like, man, you've really been doing this music thing. Like, you are a musician, so why doesn't your music sound as pretty as like what you can make?
Wow.
Does that make sense? Or as quality? Yeah. And so having that transition, and then at the same time being like, I need to move out to LA and really start from scratch. That was like the big, at least in my mind, like the moment, you know?
I don't know if you have this feeling. I certainly do. But like, you can have a skill.
Yeah.
And when your friends come to you and ask you to do something, you take it so seriously. And you're like, yo, I'm not going to let my friends down. Like, here's this perfect product.
Yeah.
And then when you go to apply it to yourself, you know it. It's there. It's the same shit. But for some reason, it's harder to like put the amount of time in for yourself, or it's like this weird.
You're just too in it.
I don't know what it is.
I just was too in it. Like, you need a second.
Do you feel that?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
You need like a second. And I don't know anything, man, but like I do know that like having just different ears, and like we were talking about this, but like having the humility to really play or show your stuff to other people and be like, what do you really think?
Yeah.
Like, does this look whack? Does this sound whack? Is this me? Yeah. You know, my little brother have a great relationship like that. Before I put out some songs, I'll send it to him. And sometimes he's been like, dude, you sound like you're trying to do something that's not you.
Interesting.
And having that relationship, and like having Danny really sit me down and have that conversation.
Well, that's also got to be a hard thing for you, right? Because you are growing up in like the melting pot of every genre. You're just a kid excited about music.
True.
So how the fuck do you define what's you? You do everything. You've made everything.
Exactly. Every genre too, man. Like I was doing country sessions in Nashville at some time. You know what I'm saying? I've done records for rock bands. I've done everybody. And it really, it's like a blessing and a curse. You know what I mean? But I think for me at least, it was like, man, what do I really just love to listen to when I get up in the morning? Okay, that's the music I want to make.
Yeah.
And also, I don't know, man, like, there's just such a shift sonically that I hear. Sometimes I feel like I hear trends, and I feel like the squad that I'm a part of out here sometimes is ahead of those trends. And I just really was like, oh, I just want to make something that's pure and maybe not care as much about that.
Yeah.
Not try to do the algorithm, if that makes sense.
Totally makes sense.
You feel me?
Well, because like my question for you was like, how do you navigate and define what your sound is? How do you keep it authentic when you have, I mean, honestly, like, I don't know your circle nearly as well as you do, but I'm familiar. There's a lot of people that are very accomplished. There's a lot of people
a lot of overlap
that have done quite a lot and are very good and are very relevant.
Yeah.
So when you're around that, how do you not have that rub off on you? How do you honestly define what that is and what you want to make for you?
I think it's becoming secure in who you are.
Yeah.
You know, because like I was always the kid. I would go into rap sessions in Atlanta. I wouldn't try to dress like I was a rapper.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And I feel like that made them like me more.
Yeah.
They were like, oh, this kid, you know, I didn't go in there. I was in a lot of dangerous situations too in Atlanta. And I never went in being like, oh, I'm from XYZ. I was always very honest. Like, yo, I'm just a kid that like plays music. And they always showed me a lot more respect that way. And my dad always told me that. He was always like, always be yourself no matter what. It's obviously, you know, it's so cliche. It's so funny. But if you like, I felt like me figuring out who I was as a person, you know what I'm saying? And not in the context of anybody else, in just the context of me, it helped with music.
Yeah.
Because then now I feel like I can pretty much make whatever I want.
Right.
But I would say too, is I was making a lot of beats and this and stuff, but I was like listening to Frank Ocean and Harry Styles and
Yeah.
the Rolling Stones and Elvis Presley and all this other stuff too.
Yeah.
So I think that just being honest, like Fever Brain is like mostly acoustic, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's mostly like dreamy acoustic. And then my next stuff coming out is a little bit more alternative and just on kind of a more vibey, a little bit rock and roll.
Yeah.
And that was just genuinely, man, just the music I wanted to make.
Okay.
And when I was driving to California, listening to records like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What were you listening to?
A lot of like the song The Wave of Mutilation by the Pixies is from the mid-90s soundtrack.
Yeah.
I just listened to that over and over again.
Dude,
man.
mid-90s was so good.
I loved it, bro.
Yeah.
And like the Marias and just like the Neighborhood and shout out Jesse from the Neighborhood and like just I was like the 1975, bro, just music that I love. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, why am I not? And it was really Danny being like, why are you not making music like this? And
Yeah, tell me a little bit more about Danny, because I know he's been such like an important part in your path.
I don't really rock with him like that, but it's fine. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah. No, he's just like a big brother, man. Like he's more on a serious side business now, but like we just met each other and he's really just taking care of me out here and been very honest with me, you know, where I think a lot of people would maybe not tell me the truth, maybe to just be like, let's keep him, you know, just working.
Because I feel like, because again, from afar as a friend, I feel like watching you grow and evolve, I don't know the conversations. I don't know exactly what it was.
Yeah.
But the Luke that I talk to now
definitely
feels
different.
A little more grounded, a little more focused in where you're going. And it seems like Danny was a big part of that.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Shout out to him a lot. It was a lot of just honesty, a lot of like really like sunning me and just being like, you know, you are good. It's a lot of raw talent. It's just not focused. So now it just feels more focused. Yeah,
because you were telling me something like, I think everybody deals with this, any type of creative. It's really hard. But it's like, when you're passionate about what you're doing, it's very easy to be hard-headed and be like, dude, this is the wave, whatever.
Oh my God, dude.
So just balancing that, right?
100%. Dude, and it's hard too, because when you're, I don't want to say self-made, but like I really like finessed my way. Like,
what do you mean by that? Tell me.
Like I left high school, you know what I'm
Right.
saying? I started a studio when I was in college, and just like this random businessman just built me a studio.
Tight.
You know what I'm saying? We were throwing shows with like everybody in chat coming out on some just, I don't know, like on very, very DIY, very self-made. So I think sometimes when you have that, there's just a little bit of cockiness, and I it was also a little bit of insecurity. I think when you it's like both, you know what I'm saying?
Right,
When
it's
someone's like
hard.
really cocky, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They're kind of insecure. And I think like I just really had to look myself in the mirror, and I just was like, it's time to like listen to what you had been telling me, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you were a big part of that. And then also other people just being like, quality needs to come first. Like, you're not going to convince anybody with like charisma. My mom used to always say, she would always say, you charm your way out of everything, but there's going to be a day where it doesn't work.
Fuck.
You know what I mean? And I was like, no, Mom.
Damn it, Mom.
No.
Yeah.
But that's true, man. So like, it was just changing the shift onto like, just being a better listener, I think. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, that's a very honest
still growing,
thing.
bro. I haven't gotten there, but still working on
I
it.
mean, it's cool to be aware of it, though.
Yeah.
I think about like a lot so the context of anybody that doesn't know our relationship. We
Yeah.
met at that Georgia show a couple of years ago, and I was
Yeah.
doing version 3, and the very early days of Luke, I put out a song of yours, put a video out. And I didn't really know what it was going to be, right? Like it was just kind of like, there's something here. So like, let's see what happens.
Very raw.
It's another like kind of fun full circle moment to have you on the podcast.
Thank you, man.
Thank you for being a guest. And we've kind of always supported each other in the times where it's like,
touch.
I don't really know what I'm doing fully yet here, but there's something special. Let's keep it going. So the next thing that I want to talk about is a little more specifically Fever Dream. Fever Brain. Jesus Christ.
It's all good.
Fever Brain. That's a new step for you.
100%.
Tell me, the first song came out.
Yep. Friday, 2 days ago. And this, as far as a podcast, we were talking about this earlier. I feel like there's a lot more to go as far as you as a career. Of course.
But we can treat this like a little time capsule, and we can know that like this is the moment, talking about these songs coming out, what you're thinking about now, what you're focusing on now.
Yeah.
So just tell me, like, in its most honest form, like, the first song comes out, what's coming up next? What are you excited about?
Bro,
what does this represent to you?
It's just everything, bro. It's like, it's the first time I've ever put out something where I would be unashamed to show it to anybody.
Yeah.
Because of the quality, you know what I'm saying? We worked really hard on it, and I made the whole thing. Everything's produced by me, written by me, and I have a whole album too that's done. A whole EP. I'm sorry, EP. I guess album, 7 songs. So I guess it's an EP.
Outside of this,
yeah. And did my first show in LA a few weeks ago, and went really, really good. Shout out Destin Johnson, who came out and played drums for me for the show. One of my OG boys. He's incredible. He's playing for Chance the Rapper on SNL.
Jesus.
And I'm like,
casual.
I'm like, no, they're gonna take him. No, I'm just kidding. He's my boy. Man, him showing love too is just crazy. Like, he came out here and did the show with me, and I don't know, man. It just feels like fully formed. Like, the identity feels good. I feel unashamed to play it in front of people.
Yeah.
So that's really what it is, man. So the plan right now is to follow up. Excuse me, I didn't mean to hit the mic. Follow up with a few different singles, and just kind of see where it goes, man. On the business side, we're just like, it's been cool, man. The reaction has been good, and we're still in early stages, but I feel very confident. Next year's gonna be really busy with tours and with shows and stuff like that. So yeah.
And it's funny because, like, again, it's so fresh right now. Like, you saw it coming out, but
literally a few days.
You showed me some of the things you guys are doing marketing wise, and it feels very exciting. It feels unique. Like, some of the ideas you've had, I'm like, yeah, damn, good on you. And like,
cereal
I don't know,
boxes.
it really does feel. Can we say it?
Yeah, you can say it.
We can.
Yeah.
Tell me about it then.
So basically, I was sitting around one day and I was eating some cereal. You know how it is, Brandon. Brandon taking pictures. And we were just, I was freaking out, man. I was like, I have to do something different to send to just the homies and just show support. Also say thank you for everybody, you know, shout out. Thank you so much, Cecil Bernard, who let me use his studio. Corey B for helping me out as much. Brandon shot the cover.
Damn.
Right there. Shout out Overcast. Sorry, I'm just doing a bunch of shout outs right now. I'm sorry.
You can't do the Grammy speech too hard.
No, I'm so sorry. But yeah, we basically just made a cereal box, man, called Fever Brand. Yeah. And it's super unique, and there's gonna be merch inside, and we're sending that to everybody. So that's something that just, like, basically I just came up with, and then use that as a tool, and that's something I'm excited about, because all my favorite artists do that. There's always something unique about the rollout. Yeah. Travis does that. Shout out to my boy Yeek. He does that really good. Jesse does that really, really well. Yeah. Just branding, creating a world. Yeah. It seems like you have a lot of people around you. Like, the people you surround yourself with are very good and very creative. Yeah. And it's cool to see you hold yourself to that standard as well. Yeah. Yeah. I try to do better, and not in a competitive way, but I just try to, it needs to be that quality to the visuals, to everything like that. So yeah, man, it's so early. Like, I really haven't even really been checking the streams of the song, just because I almost want to do out of sight, out of mind for like a few weeks, and then we'll kind of come back and see. Yeah. Kind of regroup and see where we're at. I think it's a fun time to do the podcast, though, because it's like, we'll see, right? Yeah. Like, this 100%. Could be that thing where it's like, yo, it came out a day ago, and it's like, we'll always have this little moment. Yeah, right? Bro. So I think that's. But if this one doesn't go, then we'll do the next one, and then we'll do the next one and the next one, and that's just the attitude. I never try to be like, oh, this is it, you know? Yeah. So that's a dangerous game to play, right? Like, when you put all your eggs in that basket and you're like, this is the one, it's such a shitty reality when it doesn't hit. Yeah. Because then it's harder to come back to it. And 100%. I feel like when you kind of just like let it exist and you have your rhythm,
That's where the magic
Yeah.
happens.
Exactly, man. It was weird. It was the first time I've ever put out a song, and the day of, I was cool. Like,
Yeah.
I just went to the studio. I had a session with, shout out Dotha and Simon C, and I just had fun.
Yeah.
And I wasn't even really checking my, I was obviously checking my phone a little bit, but it wasn't like anxious. I just was like, all right, the work has been done.
Yeah.
It either works or it doesn't,
Yeah, I know. This version of Luke, I like this version. You seem very much more at peace with things.
Thank you, man. I think so too. Yeah.
I mean, fuck. I feel like that brings us up till now. Did I miss anything along the story? I feel like there were some cool moments that I know about.
Yeah.
I mean, do you feel like I glazed over anything?
No, man. I mean, I made a lot of music for a lot of rappers and a lot of like artists and stuff like that out here. But at the end of the day, like everybody out here has made a lot of music for a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the biggest moment was just making the jump and deciding to just drive out here. Like I drove out here just in my car and just crashed on Danny's couch for a few months and was super blessed to like find a place to live and find, work with everybody and stuff like that. So we're pretty much caught up to speed, I think.
I mean, fuck.
Yeah.
I feel like that's the damn thing right there.
There it is.
My guy.
My freaking guy. I almost swore my mom would be mad at me.
No, I love this. And it's cool. Like, I love the time capsule of it.
Yeah.
I mean, hell, we'll come back and do another one
I would love to, man.
when you're out here playing SNL or whatever.
Thank you for having me,
Why
bro.
did I just make that the benchmark?
I kind of want to play SNL though.
What's
man.
what's that benchmark? Actually, here, end me with that.
End me with
What's if we come
What's the
back
5-year plan?
here a year from now?
Okay.
What's that look like?
I would love to be direct support on a lot of tours by then. Have
Yeah.
everything lined up. I would love to have festivals lined up
Mm-hmm.
for the next year. Dude, my goal is legitimately to tour 8 months of the year.
So you're trying to like hit the road.
Yeah, absolutely. For like the next 7-8 years. Just tour and then record for 3 months and then spend time helping other people.
Because that's actually not something that you've had. Like, you've toured as a hired gun, but you haven't really had the chance to go out and tour on your own
I
projects
actually
as much.
did earlier this year, but it was crazy DIY. Shout out Bobby Superbody. He took me out and we were just in a Jeep Cherokee,
Oh shit!
just driving across the nation. $50 a night, like
Yo.
guaranteed. You know what I
I'm
mean?
glad you had that.
Oh, it was so
Everybody
good.
needs of that.
Oh, dude, it was so good. It was perfect. And it really taught me to like what's good about my music. This is when I was doing my earlier stuff. What's good about it, what doesn't translate.
You get to see like what
You get to
connects
see,
with
man.
fans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was so awesome, man. It was a great experience. So, but yeah, that's the goal.
Okay.
And then I'm starting a collective called ABCD. Shout out the gang.
Gang.
And I just want to throw shows and give other artists the opportunities to play big shows and stuff like that as well.
Yeah, that's cool. I
Yeah.
think that there's something about whatever's happening in music right now, like more on the DIY cool side.
Yeah,
There is a big community side, right?
100%.
Where like,
That's everything, man.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
everything.
it's cool to see though.
Yeah, like that's what's cool about coming from Tampa or coming from a smaller area, because you can't have rivalries with other people,
Right.
because if you do, then no one's gonna come to your show.
Yeah.
So I definitely want to bring that energy. I want to be a positive influence.
Fuck
I
yeah.
want to be a leader, man. So
Dude, I love it. I'm glad I asked you that last little bit. I think that was a cool little
thank you, man.
thing
I
there.
feel bad, man. I feel like I'm just talking about myself.
That's what'll happen to you on a podcast.
How's your pops doing, bro?
This is your platform
How's
to
your
talk
Scottish,
about
your
yourself.
Scottish father doing?
My Scottish father is doing great. Yeah, Ed stays killing it, stays riding his bike.
Shout out to Ed.
Shout out to Ed. Nah,
What's your
man.
mom's name? Martha. No, I'm just guessing.
Betsy.
Betsy.
Yeah,
That's close.
I know, right? It's such a mom
Such
name.
a mom name, I know.
It's funny too because he'll be like, he's got like his super Scottish accent. He
Yeah.
loves her. They've been together forever and all that.
Yeah.
But my favorite Ed quote is there'll be some stupid thing, right? Like she'll be like, "Can you unload the dishwasher?" Whatever. He'll be reading his something on Facebook or whatever. And, Jesus Christ, Betsy. Yeah, it's like still he's been in the States forever and still so Scottish. Jesus Christ, Betsy. So good.
I think that's the perfect way to end it.
I think that's the perfect way to end it.
Love you, man. Thank you.
Love you. Thanks for doing this.
Appreciate you. Fever brain out now. 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 Fever brain out now.